Hi everyone. I hope you can see my screen with the slide, but also with some other reviewers. So we are going to start the 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 reviewer training for the statewide strategic planning grant. What a name, right? Like, what can you wish more than this? The RFP. So, thank you so much for saying yes and for this process to review. I cannot, I cannot express more for my thank you, especially knowing that how our world is packed by so many top priorities. So sharing your time and attention to this process means a lot to me and also to our agency, and also I believe for community. So thank you for that. And the Elizabeth and I are co-leading for this process. I work for Minnesota Housing. Elizabeth is a key step person for the MICH, Minnesota Interagency Council on Homelessness. So this is a kind of joint coordinated kind of process we are doing together. Unfortunately, Elizabeth is sick and out today. So I'm going to maybe G and Elizabeth like two different ways. So bear with me if I'm messing up little technology around. Hopefully that's a kind of like, maybe kind of fun laugh to you rather than annoying technology challenges. So maybe we can have a quick introduction to each other, because we might have this journey together for the next few weeks, and it's always nice to meet and learn some different people. So if you share your name and the which agency you are affiliated and your just role quickly, that'd be great. Again, Jiyoung Choi with Minnesota Housing. I do a lot of like a community engagement or some homeless response system work as a part of a housing stability team in Minnesota Housing. I can maybe call Diane. You wanna go next?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm Diane Elias. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and I help manage a few programs for Minnesota Housing that stabilize households with rent assistance and services, either through preventing homelessness or helping folks who are homeless get back into housing.
Okay, Nancy, you're next.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nancy Urbanski with Minnesota Housing. And rather than repeat what Diane says, essentially it's ditto. I work in the same programs that Diane does. It's nice to be here and nice to meet you all.
Brittany, you wanna go next?
Good morning. My name is Brittany Rice. My pronouns are she, hers. I am the Director of Equity and Inclusion for Minnesota Housing. Yeah, I'm just here to just kind of learn more. I'm still new. I'm still under a year at the agency, so I'm like taking up all the opportunities to learn about specific programs. So excited to be here.
Thanks. Brittany, I heard that on up to 10 years, we can still use new in our agency. So
amazing. That's great news. I'm just under a year. This is great. I'm really excited.
Great. How about you, Jen?
I'm Jen Abbas, and I am the new housing coordinator working with Kate Erickson within the Minnesota Department of Corrections. I've only been in my job for 3 weeks, so I consider myself really new. So I am looking forward to this and excited to be here.
Even she signed up for this work before even she started her job, so I can easily tell how excited she is about this opportunity. So thank you. Meredith, you wanna go next?
Hello, everyone. I'm Meredith Hicks. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Director of Youth Housing Justice at Youth Collaboratory, which is a national nonprofit that supports communities in redesigning their systems to end youth homelessness. And we're centered around racial equity and authentic youth collaboration. So I'm really excited to be part of this team and to be part of this process.
Great, thank you so much. Erin, can you speak?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Erin Many, kind of opposite of Jen. I think maybe this process might overlap with my departure. So maybe I'm a community reviewer. But for right now, I'm at Minnesota Housing and I oversee a few grant programs, including Housing Trust Fund and HOPWA and collaboratively Homework Starts with Home with Nancy and Diane.
Thank you, Erin. I know transition is always tough, and I really appreciate you, spend some time for this. Nikki?
Hi, I'm Nikki Mose. I am a program and loan officer with Greater Minnesota Housing Fund, and we were one of the funders of this grant. So I worked with G a while ago on this too.
Thank you, Nikki. Hi, Irene. Just want to say hello. Hi, Pat. You not the list, but last for introduction.
Yeah, sorry I joined late. I just completed the Housing Trust Fund operating subsidy reviews. I had 30 seconds off, and now I'm in another review. I'm Pat Leary. I'm with the Minnesota Department of Human Services. I manage the Long-Term Homeless Supportive Services Fund. My pronouns are he, him. And is that all?
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Perfect.
Pat, for all the reviews that you do for Minnesota Housing, I feel like you're one of Minnesota Housing staff. We should put you on the payroll.
Been nonstop lately, but I'm glad to do it.
We appreciate your time, Pat. So today I'm going to share a little bit, information about this grant background and what we are trying to achieve and what might be eligible as a applicant and expectations. Also, sure, some chunk I'm going to spend some time to share some review criteria, scoring, selection, those kind of things, along with the timeline. And hopefully we can also spend some time for questions. But if you have any question, just feel free to stop me while I'm talking, because I don't want you to just write down something and then wait until the end. So this is a kind of a formal but not so formal session. So I hope you feel free and comfortable enough to ask me any question. Okay, so before we even dive in, I believe we already distribute the conflict of interest and non-disclosure form for you to you, and many of you already completed and sent back to us. So thank you so much. So this is a kind of a the form that we are taking very seriously about the very objective and fair process for review. So please read through all of those, what this means when we talked about the potential or actual, the conflict we are talking about. And if you felt like anything there, please share with us, and then maybe we can go from there. Hopefully, you're all oh, I can technically really review all of those. Hopefully that's the case, but if not, maybe we can possibly work it out, possibly not. So based on that result, even though you attended this training, there's a potential that you might not be able to review. So just want you to know about that. And until I receive all of those, the form, and we made it clear that everything is clear, we are not able to distribute the application. So if you did not have a chance to look at those things yet, please make sure that your inbox or even junk, I don't know, sometimes the travel might be a little bit weird where the final destination. So if you receive those, and then if so, please complete those forms after read through really carefully. So, and Brittany, whoever attend the reviewer meeting later has to also sign this form. So I believe you are in that boat, so please complete that form like others as well.
Yeah, I got the email this morning.
Okay, good. So let me tell you just a little bit about this grant. I don't know, some of you might know, but not all, but Minnesota Housing, and you probably know about the Continual Care, who is the planning entity, the primary planning entity for the regional planning for the homeless and prevention kind of effort, especially when they apply to HUD funding. Minnesota Housing has provided some kind of a financial the resources to those, especially the Greater Minnesota 6 COC. In Minnesota, we have 10 continual cares, and 6 of them are located in Greater Minnesota, who do not have some like a lot of infrastructure to provide staffing for certain kind of planning or implementing work like this. So since 1996, 7, around that era, we started to provide some funding to have some step available for the continual care work in Greater Minnesota. So it evolved so many different ways. The very beginning was more likely having someone to write grant kind of thing for the application to HUD, and then eventually it became more like a planning, coordinating, collaborating kind of work as now. In particular, like May 2020, Minnesota Interagency Council on Homelessness voted to focus the next statewide the plan to prevent and end homelessness on justice-oriented plan, in particular housing and health and racial justice. So with that kind of emphasis and direction that got identified, we decide to have this funding purpose to align to that. So the goal for the grant is the commitment that we have to reduce racial disparities, and then also enhance the local homeless response system, and then sure that has to be better coordinated and collaborated with the all other local partners, and then also the state partners. So we try to really advance our system to be more equitable in the housing and health and the racial justice space. So $350,000 one-time funding is available. Since we cannot guarantee any renewals or future funding, that's why we use one-time funding. And if anyone is selected, the period for this funding will start from July 1st this year and then cover until June 30 the next year. So here are some like who are eligible. It is federally recognized tribes or tribally designated housing entities in Minnesota. And then the continual cares, especially in the Greater Minnesota COC. So the Metro County, the COCs are not eligible. So just want to share. And we anticipate just one application per COC. So the good news is that we received that way. So that was our intention. And I think our preference go to sure like a more collaborative effort, and then also who seek for broader participation of various stakeholders in that region. So not necessarily just a person's idea, rather it is really meaningfully like engage their housing, health, and some other partners in the area who serve the population we're talking about. So the eligible planning activities, there are so many kind of things is possibly included in this flexible range, but what we are trying to really look at is how they can really connect their local work either as a new idea or existing idea or existing work to advance again the justice for health and housing and racial, and how that partnership can also build between local and the state. Maybe some of you might heard about as a part of this new strategic statewide planning idea, we just ran into some new work to define what justice and what equity means in this word. And then continuously we try to plan on more clear and also reasonable some action plan in this year, especially including the voices from the who with the lived expertise or lived experiences. So I think that's a kind of exciting thing. So we know that the plan is on progress right now, and how the local is continuously make sure that those works are coordinated and aligned. That's a kind of a what we are looking as eligible activities. Just want to make sure that no one has questions so far. Okay. So those are kind of list of eligible expenses, and I have to tell you that it's about planning work. So a lot of our chunk of money goes to pay the staff rather than rental assistance or transportation or utility, that type of direct assistance. So when you see the budget, don't be like a oops, it is okay because so many like money is just personnel. That's totally fine. And sometimes there is some other expenses that we don't know what this work will take, especially each local has a little different way of planning and maybe have resources to cover certain things. So we try to be more flexible, but we need to work with each applicant if they kind of propose something in our like usual budget list. But we are flexible. So just want to do that part.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Is eligible expense offering a stipend for a participant with lived experience or a community group or a youth action board or something like that?
Yes. That is a part of like eligible expenses. Sure, sometimes it could be a small token, or they sometimes have a very structured way of having some permanent and maybe consistent member who can continuously help for their process. I think that's definitely, we have been funding that way so far, and we plan to continue. So this is part of that. So even like paying some mileage, that kind of thing as well.
And G, I was just going to clarify that one of the things that I think is important is it's often a stipend that's able to be accepted. What's been more challenging is if you're trying to have someone be a representative at the same pay scale as, say, an employee. We do run into some issues right now with, requests that would consider the person to be an employee or be similar to an employee just because of those legal issues. So we're still working on that part because we do agree that their time is just as valuable. But go ahead, Brittany.
So I'm actually a part of a multi-divisional work group right now in Minnesota Housing that is kind of trying to tackle this a little bit. And there is that, yes, like we can't, the policy now is, you can't pay folks as if they were employees. But then I also will say that the Interagency Council on Homelessness is actually hiring, not as community reviewers, but like actually hiring folks with lived experience. I know everyone's nodding, so they've heard of it. But so like those things are going on right now. And I would say the work group I'm on is actively we're going to come up with some kind of proposal because we want folks who don't already work for the agency to come in, bring their lived experience and get paid for their time. Because it's valuable. And I've said this in other meetings, I'll say this now, $15 an hour, people still will be in poverty. So like, I'm not talking that low. So this is something we've been working on for a while. But it's just something that we're aware of and we just haven't.
Yeah, I think with our structure, it probably has more steps to go and then make it happen. But with our funding, if someone was using that way, it's pretty much like, allowed and flexible, like a different than what we are obligated as a government agency. So I think, sure, like again, many of our the grantees, we did the previous funding that we have offered already utilized that idea, and it's quite common practice. Sure, whether they're equitably funded or paid, that's a little bit question mark, because traditionally it's true, people just receive some $10 gift card or that type of kind of one-time small token to appreciate their time, but we are more like encouraged ourselves and then encouraging others to look at what would be the more equitable value that we can pay for those participants, which is really valuable for us. So thank you for asking, Meredith, and Diane and Brittany added some the comments too. So again, collaboration, and the partnership. I think a lot of alignment, coordination, and collaboration, that's kind of we are looking for as an expectation. People has to also have some like a minimum reporting process quarterly. The form as a part of reports are quite minimum. So hopefully they spend more time for collaborating and planning rather than filling out the form for us, but we'll see. And diversity and inclusion is the listed as a last, but probably one of the most important thing. You might also notice from our application how much we try to make sure that the equitable and who are making decision and participated in their local structure really important. So in terms of the review process, there is a minimum threshold. Everybody has to do certain way of filling out the application, be on time, those kind of things. But in the meantime, right now, our contractual team is doing still some of the threshold review, including some kind of financial assessment. To be honest with you, as I checked, like right before this training, we are in the very last stage of clearing off some questions and concerns. So I think our plan is that it might take a few more days or sometimes a week. So we'll see how our finance, the risk management team can clear any concern or remaining question. But we will process our review after this training. So maybe in the middle of this week or end of this week, I hope that's not the case. But if there is any remaining risk factor become really huge and we cannot maybe able to accommodate, then they might be out from our consideration, but we will continuously communicate with you. Okay, so the scoring criteria has three the section. One is project design and planning activities. That's probably will tell you a little more like, what actually they are going to do with our money. So that's about 50 points. And then diversity and inclusion or equity, how we call it that part is 40 points, because we really emphasize who is invited and making decision to move forward or develop their project, and especially around justice it's very important that those people should be included, right? So I think that's probably everybody can easily agree. So for importance of that, we assign 40 points, and then budget as a 10%, 10 points. If you have any question, like, even though we provide some kind of what we are looking for in each category, always just feel free to contact me, because sometimes, like, we try to our, best to make sure that what we are looking for as this. In the meantime, you will receive when you got those application from us. This is how our reviewer score should look like. So again, what means no point? So I do not feel like, that's happening that like a common, but if someone didn't answer at all, I mean, yes, that's a 0 point. But each question, we make sure that what probably can be defined as low and medium high. There's a little different range of the points. For example, question 1, you can see low means 1 to 6. So based on, reading through this, you can probably, come up with your own score for that question for that project. So hopefully that makes sense. And here is what you're supposed to write down your score, and then the comment. So we hope you can little bit explain and let us know how you can come up with that score, especially if something is extremely low. Maybe that will be really helpful. But make sure that because sometimes after this whole thing, this became the public data. So if anyone is asking, hey, I want to learn about what I have done for our future work, then I might, compile all of your comments and something I learned from the review meeting later. I might give them some, hey, here is a 2-page of something that comments can be helpful for you. So your comment in this, the scorecard can be used and part of that kind of future conversation. So I just want to share that information up front. So all of those score is here, and then we have some auto calculate the score here. And then here is a kind of summary. If you feel like, hey, I want to share some potential, strengths and weakness of this project, here is another opportunity. You can share your thoughts with us. Any question with this scorecard? Okay. So that's a kind of our, sorry. So that was the review criteria I just showed for for you, and it is going to be emailed along with the application. So and here are some tips, because everybody has a little different style and then maybe a way of reading the application, but we want you to review only based on the contents in the application. I think I am really lucky for this process that we have a really diverse people from different areas as experts. So I cannot wait to for our review meeting a week later. But if you know something that they didn't share at the application, or some more detail, for example, like, I don't think so, even though they saw, based on my knowledge, maybe not. I mean, those are all very helpful and we want to learn about it, but not through your score. Those are probably more better with, I scored it this way, but at least I know based on my relationship or some other work, this might be something that they didn't share, or I feel like something missing. That may be something that's helpful for when we discuss at the review process. So to be fair for all applicants, we want to score just based on the content. So hopefully that is what we are hoping to do. And maybe it's hard, but it's not a probably good idea, not a good idea compared against the other applications so much. You might be able to like adjust like, oh, I thought this is really good project versus not. But Y score is not reflecting. You might, double check like whether this is something I'm missing, because, if I sometimes review my first project, I tend to spend a lot of more time and then read like a couple of times. And then I got familiar to that format. And then my last application might be a little bit different. So I think there's a, based on my mood, whether I was hungry or not, before lunch or after lunch. So there's some kind of like, impact there. So I hope you can maybe double check about it, but not necessarily compare against the other application. Diane, sorry. Thank you for your patience. I know you raise your hand.
Oh, no problem at all. I just wanted to clarify, so for the review criteria, that scoring sheet that you showed us, that's one per application. So we don't fill it out with all of the applicants in one criteria, but one score sheet, I guess, for each application.
Yes, that's a great question, Diane. So if you see here is the applicant name, and then funding amount that you can put, and then your name. So you have to, probably all of you will receive about 2 to 3, I think mostly 3 application. So that means that when you email me back later about your score, you should have a 3 attachment, like per 1 scorecard per applicant. So, okay. So here it is about like the funding. I think, how it works is that when you give us our score, that is majorly like we will use as a core information to put together some kind of funding recommendation. But the review team plus I think Minnesota Housing leadership will evaluate some different component of the aspects of the grant. So again, we all will have a different kind of a maybe strategy or criteria looking at to evaluate the application score, and also sometimes with some kind of different policy aspects. So just want you to know that the funding selection is not just solely based on application score, and the any information you read and then possibly heard and then you scored are entirely confidential until the contracts are fully executed. So sometimes, like, people like, okay, we are done with our review meeting, so maybe my secret, whatever code is gone. No, that's not true. So I will let you know when you can say anything about this, especially when we not only just share our award letter, but actually the contract signed. So that's another, like, the long length. So I want to say that maybe sometime like a June will be the time, but safely, hopefully like a July 1st, everything is clear. So. Okay, and this is the one slide I steal from Diane and Nancy, another RFP, the reviewer meeting. Oops. Can you see? I don't know what happened. It just suddenly got blacked. So, okay, so here is a quick tips, extra tips. Read all first, if possible. I know sometimes people do one by one, kind of thing. But if you have just 3 applications, just quickly read all and then get sense of it. And then you can do probably the score. That's the one way. Or read one, and then move another. It depends. But I think I found out that some grabbing some idea, quickly read, and then the second time you start to score tends to be a little better. And read the section by section and then compare and think about it rather than, but to some extent our application, I think one of the beauty in the meantime challenges that they're all connected. So the program design must reflect to their capacity and budget. So it should talk to us the same one story rather than like they said that they want to do this and then it's not scheduled anything in the budget. How is it possible? So hopefully that's not the case, but it should be some kind of a aligned way. So we are having this review meeting, but actually the application due was last Thursday, and probably if you had a chance to open your COI form, you had a chance to look at. We received the total 7 applications. Our available money is $350,000, but total requested amount is close to be $500,000. So it will be tough for us to make sure that what we will carve out as a the project or portion that we are going to fund it. So I just want to share who are listed, which is the part of your COI form. So please make sure that not only the applicant but who are associated with that application to make sure that your conflict of interest is really reflecting all of those lists, not just one. And the most continued care, as you know, they are not legal entity. That's why they have to designate some agencies as their fiscal agent. So you probably say Central Minnesota Continued Care, but applicant is Central Minnesota Housing Partnership. That's why. So we are having this the virtual review training, and again it is recorded right now. So if you wanna, I just wanna like what did she say, or what did we talk about? You can always go back for the later reviewing. And if you have a question, feel free to again reach out to me. Normally I'm able to get back to you within the same day, otherwise 24 hours. So hopefully that is helpful. Again, you got all conflict of interest forms, and it must sign and submit through that DocuSign. Without receiving all and make it clear, I cannot distribute the applications to you. So just wanna emphasize one more time. We are going to meet on Wednesday, March 30 for our review selection meeting. So for that meeting, please return your scores and comments to me by the day before. So I have some time to look at those or scores and then make sure that that is kind of presenting clearly to you at the meeting. But if you need a little more time, or hey, I probably cannot do this and that, please, whenever you know, let me know. I can maybe extend some time for you to finish the review, or just for certain things happen. So if you cannot even review or assign or even 1 or 2 any longer, don't feel bad. Again, like just talk to me. I can make some plan differently about that. So that will be very helpful. And then we have actually total 15 reviewers, which is amazing. 10 from state staff from again the different departments. So I'm so fortunate to have not only just people with the housing aspect, but also corrections and health, something like that. And then sure, the equity, Brittany. So I think that's kind of nice. Also, we have 5 community partners who are representing different population and probably some funders view versus advocacy view like that. So I think that's kind of an exciting part. All reviewers, don't feel bad when you submit like, oh, I wish, I know about that, certain like, extra information we are learning from the review meeting. You always have opportunity to modify your score, because that's what our discussion is about. And if you feel like with that additional information, you feel strongly about like changing, some of your score, feel free to do so. We have some opportunity like that. So with the final score and then, other different thing, I might, communicate with you between that and then April 21st to share what would be our final, the funding recommendation, who will be funded, and then how much, those kind of thing. So April 21st is our board meeting day that we are going to bring this funding recommendation for their approval. And then, award letter go out shortly, and then all kind of a contract related kind of activity starts for about 2 months. And then hopefully July 1st, we can launch this whole grant. So I think I've been talking too much. Hopefully, I don't know whether I still cover. Oh, I don't know. This is kind of interesting. Is it black, my screen? Okay, maybe because my overwhelming thank you kind of show that the part. So any questions you heard, something is not clear or needed some additional conversation? I know you probably will not have a question right now because you may need to digest some, but I guarantee you will start to have a question while you are reading, because even though how much we try our best to make it clear and possible idea about how you can score for certain information in our scorecard, I have found always there's something like a in between, like a what should I do? So and I did not share here, but like I'm one of them, like rather than 5, can I say 5.5? Because it's not really 5, it's really not 6, but I think maybe if you stick to 5 or 6, that might be helpful for us. But if you want to go 5.999 kind of idea, I might not stop you. So. And again, if you have any question, anytime, even after the review meeting a week later, you can always reach out to me and Elizabeth. So here is our contact information. After this meeting, I'm going to retrieve what got recorded. In the meantime, send this PowerPoint slides for your reference. Any question? It's a kind of unfortunate that, like, I felt like I've been in this area for long enough, if I can claim for my 14 years in Minnesota housing that way, but still like I'm meeting like a new wonderful partner, and I wish that is like an in-person setting rather than virtual, so we can get to know each other more, and little small talk always, that's helpful, and then with some smile and possibly like shaking hands or hugging that way too. But I'm still, fortunate that we can have this virtual meeting before we started this process. And maybe Diane or Erin and my coworker may say differently, but I'm not a scary person, so feel free to contact me if you have a question.
It's true. Dee's incredibly positive and helpful, and really good at giving hugs to the rest of us as coworkers as well.
I'm a hugger, sorry. Okay, I wanna double check one more minute for question or comment. Okay, you guys have been so nice and super sweet. So thank you so much again, your time to spend some training with us today. And I know you cannot wait to read the application. Actually, with this rain and then maybe some tea, it could be a perfect. And hope you enjoy the reading and learning about what everybody is doing some exciting thing in the local and for their future plans. So thank you, and see you in a week.
Thank you, G.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.